That's it. We just wanted to check that.
To start playing badminton. Shuttle Time is an initiative set up by people involved with our great sport. So no matter
and a very warm welcome to Dubai, the most populous city in the United Arab Emirates. It's a city where you can see reminders of the ancient past alongside skyscrapers and spectacular modern architecture. It's also a city that for a fourth consecutive year is playing host to the sport of badminton's end-of-year finale, the Dubai World Superseries Finals. This is the 10th edition of the Super Series Finals, which first started in Kota Kinabalu in 2008. And this year, as with the 3 previous years, all the action over all 5 days is taking place here at the Hamdan Sports Complex, a spectacular and fitting venue for badminton's end-of-year championships. This event is the culmination of the 12 tournaments on the MetLife BWF World Superseries, the elite tier of tournaments throughout the year, and is ranking points gained from just those 12 tournaments, which have determined the top 8 players and pairs in each of the 5 disciplines: men's and women's singles, men's and women's doubles, and mixed doubles as well. Well, I'm Jill Clark, delighted to say Steve Peterson alongside me, and this has proved a highly popular event with all the players.
Yeah, the players, they love to be here in Dubai, and I think we've got some really exciting matches ahead of us here in Hamdan Sports Complex.
Yes, indeed, I'm sure we will, because we've got the world's best here. And as far as the tournament format is concerned, the 8 players or pairs in each of the 5 disciplines have been divided into 2 groups of 4. Everyone plays everyone else in their group, and then it's just the top 2 from each of those groups who qualify for the semi-final knockout stage. Semi-finals on Saturday before 5 finals on a Sunday. So 63 of the world's very best players from 11 different countries are here in Dubai, all competing for a share of the $1 million prize fund. Well, it's day one of competition today, and so it's the first of the group matches and 6 matches for you this afternoon. And we're starting with women's singles, and the 2-time former beaten finalist Sung Ji-hyun of Korea is up against the former world champion Ratchanok Intanon of Thailand. Then it's men's doubles, and the only former champions, in fact they're 3-time former champions, Bo and Mogensen, the only former champions in the men's doubles, are up against Hoki and Kobayashi of Japan. Then it's women's doubles and 2 Olympic medalists, the silver medalist Yul and Pedersen of Denmark, up against the bronze medalist Jung and Shin from Korea. Then it's mixed doubles and the reigning world and Olympic champions, Ahmad and Nasir, but they've never won the Super Series finals. They're up a pair against a pair who have. Chris and Gabby Adcock won the title here 2 years ago. Then a second women's singles, and Pusala Venkata Sindhu, silver medalist at both the World Championships and the Olympic Games, is up against Herbing Jiao. And then it's men's singles, and a winner of 4 Super Series titles this year, Shrikant Kidambi, is up against the reigning world champion Victor Axelsen, who also happens to be the defending champion here. So the players waiting in the wings for the first of our matches. Sung Ji-hyun there, the 2-time beaten finalist, is up against the former world champion Ratchanok Intanon of Thailand. Well, as far as the women's singles is concerned, the 8 players we have here, 7 of them have contested a Super Series tournament final this year, with 5 of those players winning Super Series titles. The only player who hasn't is Chen Yufei, who was a World Championship bronze medalist. That's how strong the women's singles discipline is. Well, we're just about ready for the first of our matches. Let's go courtside and join our Master of Ceremonies, Howard Bentham.
This is the Dubai World Super Series Finals Women's Singles. Please welcome the players. First up, from Korea, it's last year's runner-up, Sung Ji-hyun.
The 2-time beaten finalist at this event. She reached the final not only last year, but in 2014 as well. Korea's Sung Ji-hyun.
And let's hear it for her opponent, the number 5 seed from Thailand, Ratchanok Intanon.
The 2013 former world champion, Ratchanok Intanon. Won a Super Series title this year, and it was one of the big ones. It was the Denmark Open Premier Super Series that Ratchanok Intanon won in the autumn. And that was after an 18 months since her previous Super Series title.
Red, black for you. Black. Sir? Yeah.
So the toss of the coin, and the players have chosen which end to start. The winner of the toss of the coin has the choice. They can choose to serve or to receive, or which end they start. Ratchanok Intanon is 22 years of age, former world #1 for 2 weeks at the end of April last year. She finished the Super Series standings at number 5, and that was after, as I say, being the Denmark Open champion. 2 Super Series tournament finals for her this year. Also reached the final of the All England Championships, and that was the second time she had been in the All England finals. So 2 finals, 2 Premier Super Series. It is no wonder she has qualified here for the Super Series finals. Her opponent is 26 years of age, born in Seoul, and she has been as high as 2 on the world rankings. 3 weeks in total across 2 different spells, and she finished the Super Series year ranked number 3, which is her highest ever finish at the end of a Super Series year. She reached the final of the Indonesian Premier Super Series, losing out to the left-hander Sayaka Sato in the final in Jakarta. So this will be the 17th meeting between these 2 players, and of the previous 16, it is Hyun who holds the advantage, having won 9 of them. But the last time they met was in the quarter-final stage of the Denmark Premier Super Series, and obviously with Ratchanok Intanon going on to win that title, she won on that occasion. But it should be mentioned that they played here at the Super Series finals 2 years ago in the group stage, and what a thrilling match that was. In fact, Ratchanok had to save a total of 4 match points, coming from 17-20 down in the second game, having already lost the first, but came through eventually in 1 hour and 15 minutes to win. Eric Kurt from Denmark is our umpire, and David Wong from Malaysia, the service judge. So obviously, Steen, it is absolutely vital as far as players are concerned with the group round-robin stage. It's so nice to get off with a win with your first match.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of pressure off your shoulders and gets you started in a good way in this tournament. So very, very important first match. A normal stretching program, Sung Ji-hyun.
Yes, it's very typical, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, on my right, Sung Ji-hyun, Korea. On my left, Ratchanok Intanon, Thailand. Ratchanok Intanon to serve, love all, play.
So the former world champion, Ratchanok Intanon, getting this Group B encounter underway.
1 love. Love.
Look, that's a lovely angle. Oh, goodness me. Slicing across the feathers of the shuttle. Bringing it down so steeply. And this is a very good start from Sung Ji-hyun. And there it is again. Well, we know it's one of her favourite shots, Steen, but 2 outright winners already and a 4-love lead.
It seems like Intanon is playing a bit too short here in the beginning. Oh, missed that.
Yeah, makes amends though. Well, that was a complete miss, wasn't it? Came off the frame of the racket.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our technical officials who call system 3 into the arena.
1-4. Service over. 5-1.
Very good start for Sung Ji-hyun here. Of course, that miss hit we saw from Ratchanok Intanon on the previous rally, that's not exactly something that gives you confidence and makes you feel that you've acclimatized in the arena.
Six, 1.
Please welcome on to home 3 in the women's doubles from Japan, the #1 seed, opponents from Korea.
It's been wide. It's a pity from her perspective, but she was taking that nice and early.
2-6.
Do you remember that match 2 years ago between these two teams? We commentated on that when Ratchanok had to save 4 match points in the second game before going on to win it. It was an absolute thriller.
I would like to say yes, Jill, but I actually don't remember it.
Oh, that's nice. A little moment of magic from Ratchanok Intanon.
And very important for her to stop that run that Sung was about to make. Run away from the start of this match.
Four, 6.
Oh, that's a good neck shot. Yeah, forces the short lift. Brilliant, brilliant. My goodness me. She was in total control of that whole rally.
Yeah, she was. And I think she can punch her shots quite a lot here, because if you notice Sung Ji-hyun's feet, they rarely touch the first of the 2 doubles service lines in the back. So I would expect Ratchanok Intanon to play up against the drift here.
It's a very short serve, isn't it? And that's gone wide.
Yeah, and not only is it wide on the side, but for the player, it's also important to notice that it was actually at least 1 meter short of where it should be. So important to get the feeling for the court and the conditions as quickly as possible.
Service over. 6, 7.
Oh, that's delightful. My goodness me. Oh, I don't see a better drop shot than that. I think that caught the net cord as well, didn't it?
7 all.
She took it behind her and played the perfect drop shot. Well, just proving she's got the cross-court acute angle drop shot from both sides. We've seen it from the forehand corner, haven't we? That one from round the head.
Yeah, probably her 2 favourite shots, in my opinion, her 2 favourite attacking shots. And I think it's a little bit lucky for Intanon that Sung Ji-hyun is not that much of an attacking player. She likes a more patient playing style, because an attacking player would have capitalized a bit more of these short lifts and clears from Intanon, I think. So 9-7 down is reasonable for Intanon, and perhaps a little bit too little for Sung Ji-hyun here in the beginning of the first game.
Oh, that's lovely again, isn't it? Oh, my goodness.
Service over.
Nonchalant as she played that.
Yeah, and you were talking about the touch on that drop shot she made a couple of rallies ago, and I don't think there's any player in the world circuit that has better touch than Ratchanok Intanon when she plays at her best level.
And that touch, part of it comes about by her timing, technique, and I suppose her spatial awareness, because I'm thinking of that drop shot to which you refer, when it had gone past her. Most players simply wouldn't be able to play that.
Yeah, you have to adjust where you aim and the speed as to where the shuttle are in terms of your body position. If it's high above you, if it's a little behind you, and so on. So that's really the challenge for the players.
Oh, good net shot again. Good rally. Here's the punch clear you were talking about. What a good rally. Oh! What a shot to finish it. The obvious shot was the straight block, but instead, at the last moment, Ratchanok Intanon just guided it across court. That's amazing.
Yeah, one of the things we normally see when there's drift in the hold, as we suspect there is right now, is that one of the players have difficulties hitting the back court. But Sung Ji-hyun, she hasn't made a mistake yet on the back court.
No. Well, considering that she was 1-6 down, to now go into the lead for the first time at 10-9 is quite remarkable from Intanon. And to the mid-game interval. 10 of the last 13 points. 10 minutes of play, and then we're into the mid-game interval.
เขาลูกมันช้าใช่ป่ะทีเนี้ยถ้าเมย์เข้าลึกเมย์หยอดได้เมย์ผลักได้ใช่ป่ะสองเวลาเมย์ถอยอ่ะเมย์ถอยมาปุ๊บถึงว่าตีดินะมีข้อมือมีอะไรด้วยแต่ทีเนี้ยเวลามีข้อมืออ่ะเมย์ต้องตีให้แรงหน่อยใช่ป่ะผ่าลูกหน่อยอย่าตีแล้วหยุดเนี่ยเมย์ดูนะอย่าตีแล้วหยุดตีแล้วผ่า
미는 게 짧으면 안 돼. 길어야지 네가 잘못 받치 알았지? 그래, 잘못했으면 뒤로 나오지 마. 어? 계속 넣으니까. 자, 힘내지연아. 하나만 더 잡으면 돼. 힘내.
She's always very impassioned in the way she speaks. Kim Ji-hyun, the coach of Sung Ji-hyun.
Yeah, she worked in Europe for a couple of years in Saarbrücken in Germany. Made really good results with a lot of the players that was attending that center there in Saarbrücken.
Play.
Oh, how did she get that back? It's gone long.
Service over. 10-11.
Patbol and Shrishuk, Ratchanok's coach. I think she was highly popular as well as a coach in Europe, wasn't she, Steen? The players loved working with her.
They did,
yeah.
They did. Almost a mother figure, I think, for some of the players.
All. Service over. 12-11.
It is so deceptive, isn't it? I know you and I have discussed so many times, Steen, about the deception of the women's singles players now at the elite level. I think it's gone to a whole new level, both with Ratchanok and with Tai Soon-Ying.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Good rally.
There it was again. Good shot.
Just wide. I might even be tempted to challenge that. You've got better sight down that line. What did you think? Just wide?
I think wide, but I wouldn't rule out that it could have just caught the outer part of the line.
No, she realises it was out. Yeah.
Worrying times for Sung Ji-hyun, in my opinion, because it's a very much attacking style we're seeing from Ratchanok Intanon at the moment, and it doesn't seem that Sung can do something about it. But Ratchanok is basically playing whole court against the front court. So Sung should focus much more on the front court, in my opinion. Should be able to chase Ratchanok Intanon around the court, but that's not the case, and that's due to the magnificent shots of the former world champion.
Well, a year ago, Ratchanok was struggling with a knee injury. I remember shortly before the Super Series final, she went for a course of acupuncture in China. And there you can see there's still some strapping on that right knee. But I have to say, watching her movement here today, Steen, there doesn't seem to be any problem at all.
Good shot.
It's just too accurate, and Sung Ji-hyun having to scamper from that deep backhand corner to the forehand net, and she simply couldn't get there in time. Yeah, she's deep in the back corner, off balance, asked to move the full diagonal of the court and just couldn't get there in time.
Yeah, but you're right about the strapping on that right knee. Hopefully it's just a precaution.
Well,
17,
called
11.
out. I definitely would have challenged that one, Steen. 2 challenges per game. Nobody's used a challenge yet. It's going wide. Yeah. Well, you've got to give credit to the former world champion, because she has turned this match around from 1-6 down.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's 17-5 now, since it was 1-6 and Sung played that net shot wide.
11.
Amazing turn of events.
Yeah, not only that, it was 11-all. So 7 straight points to lead 18-11. short. Yeah. Quality of the next shot forced that short lift.
12-18. $13-18.
Great shot there from Sung.
$14-18.
Just a little flick of the racket.
$15-18.
Well. I thought at 18-11 it was all over this second game, but you never know.
And sometimes you see players slow down a little bit when they get this bigger lead and sort of mentally, probably unconsciously, start thinking a little bit about the next game.
Yeah. I've certainly seen that with Ratchanok before that's landed
that's
in.
on.
That's a
On the line.
bad misjudgment.
17-18.
2012 Olympics quarter-final. This young lady was a game and 16-9 up and then promptly lost 12 of the next 14 points.
And it's going to haunt her until she does better in the next Olympics. So.
With meanies like us mentioning it all the time.
$19-17.
Just wide.
Yeah.
So game point opportunities
Sung
for the
Ji-Hyun
former world
challenges
champion.
called out.
Oh, well, I'm surprised at that, challenging that one.
Yeah, that's probably the most obvious ones of the ones that we've selected for
Yeah.
challenge possibilities.
What does Hawkeye say? Yes, clearly out. That's what we thought. So it is indeed game point opportunities because the challenge was unsuccessful.
Challenge unsuccessful. One challenge remaining. 20, game point, 17. Play.
Oh, it's a good net shot. Yeah.
Service
Even
over.
when you know they're coming, because as you've pointed out, those are her favourite shots, those angles from both deep corners.
18,
But you still can't
20.
get there.
No. And she takes those shots really, really high, so they come down so steep, as you say. And that makes it really difficult.
Missed it. Oh, well, now there's a challenge from Ratchanok, but I was
Ratchanok
convinced she
Intanon
missed it.
Challenges called out.
We have
Hawkeye just on court 1. Yes, and that's even further out than the challenge from Hyun.
Challenge unsuccessful. 1 challenge remaining.
So just 1 point in it. 2 of the game point opportunities have come and gone.
20. Play.
Miss quickly. Opening game on a 3rd game point opportunity for the former world champion, Ratchanok Intanon.
21-19.
21-19 confirms the umpire. 20 minutes of play.
พอเมย์มีเปิดหลังอ่ะข้างหน้าฟูหน้าแบ็คพอเมย์มีข้ามหัวหลังมันถอยมันพะวงใช่ป่ะแต่ถ้าเกิดเมย์ข้างหน้าปุ๊บเมย์มีแต่หยอดนะมันก็ผลักให้เมย์วิ่งอย่างเดียวเมย์วิ่งอย่างเดียวใช่ป่ะแต่ถ้าเมย์แจกคือเข้าหน้ามาเมย์มีหยอดกลับมีไปหลังตรงมีไปหลังเฉียงหรือเลี้ยวเขาก็วิ่งถูกป่ะเพราะฉะนั้นแต่นี้เวลาเมย์บุกอ่ะเมย์จะบอกว่าเอาตาย
한 번씩 자신 없을 때는 저나 스매싱 안 때리고 그냥 왼쪽으로만 때려줘도 괜찮아. 너무 사이드로 때리지 마. 밥상 보고 네가 앞에 넣는 거 크로스 하는 거 보고 수비 보고 네가 찬스에서 때 공격해주면 돼. 그 스피드를 따라 충분해. 중간에 너무 쉽게 줬어 그래. 긴장을 해서. 자신 있게 해 충분하니까 알았지? 어? 힘내고.
ทีนี้พอเนี้ยเมย์เร่งตีไม้เมย์ง้างให้เร็วเมย์รอจังหวะให้พอดีอ่ะลูกออกจากไม้เขาเราก็ออกไปตีลูกออกจากไม้เขาแล้วก็ออกไปตีใช่ไหมไม่ใช่ว่าลูกไม่ออกเมย์จะแบบปุ๊บใช่ไหมแล้วเวลาง้างอ่ะง้างมือก็มีสะบัดข้อมือหลังมือด้วยนี่ไม้ใส่ทั้งตัวนะไม้ต้องตายใช่ป่ะเย็นๆเย็นแล้วไม่ได้เซอร์วิสโซ่ตัดหัวไหมไม่
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds. Second game. Love all. Play.
So 1 game to the good, which didn't look probable, I have to say, when she was 1-6 down in that opening game. But the former world champion, my goodness, she pulled herself together and ended up looking very impressive.
I think she's come here to play. She looks quite fast on the court. We've seen her wearing these stockings on her calf muscles, as many of the players have. There's no one there today.
Oh, well taken. Well taken.
Service over. One all.
Of course, one of the interesting things here in the second game is whether Hyun can get the correct length on her shot, because otherwise I think Ratchanok will attack her down. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, that looks perfect.
2-1.
Oh my goodness, what on earth was that round the head shot from Ratchanok? It's extraordinary.
3-1.
Take a look at this one. What on earth was that? Oh my goodness, these players have to be supple in their backs, don't they? Oh.
Service over. Two, three.
Do you think Sung Ji-hyun needs to take more initiative from that far side of the court where she can punch the clears more? She tends to me to be more of a reactive player rather than a proactive player.
Yeah, that would be my initial thought, but the first 3 or 4 rallies she's actually seemed content in defending the attack from Ratchanok Intanon, so I don't know if she can play with greater confidence on this side of the court here. I still think she's going to be in trouble, actually. That's on the line.
Yeah.
Service over. 4-2.
I think if Intanon, if she attacks too early, then she might make it too simple for Sung Ji-hyun. So mixing it up a little bit and chasing the Korean player around the court is not so bad either. That's a perfect nice smash there.
3-4. Service over.
It's amazing because when you sit off court, I know you think with a coach's mind, I just think with a spectator's mind. And I'm thinking to myself, why isn't Ratchanok looking for that one now? But I guess it's played with so much disguise, you can't read it.
It actually was, and I was just thinking about it because we're sitting so that we can actually see that shot. And it was like my legs were almost moving to the other side below the table here. But very, very good disguise from Sung Ji-hyun. So even though players know that it's her favorite shot, it's still really, really hard to get to it.
Yeah.
And the thing is that sometimes she plays the clear or the straight drop, and they look exactly the same.
Service over.
And that's just so important. If she only has that one shot with the same pre-shot routine and so on, then the players will pick up on it quite quickly.
I think that might be the first service error of the match.
Service over. 5-6.
It's gone wide.
6-all.
So back level. And that, I know she made the error, but that's one of the options, which is why the cross-court attacking acute angle from that same position is so effective.
Yeah, exactly.
Service over. 7-6.
Well, the body language of Sung Ji-hyun after that rally was very telling.
7-all.
beginning to get a little bit irritated by herself, I think. Frustrated at the errors.
Yeah, and a very puzzling lift there that goes long, whilst we've seen the players play so short.
It's gone wide. There's definitely a sideways drift.
9-7.
Sideways drift. From right to left as we look down on the court right now.
Seven.
6 of the last 7 points to Ratchanok Intanon. Overdone it.
But a great idea.
Service over.
Moving Sung Ji-hyun from side to side.
8-10.
The Korean player being tallest of the two players on court makes it a little bit more difficult for her to twist and turn.
Oh, that's come back in. Well, so much for my theory about the drift.
11-8 interval.
3-point advantage, though, to Ratchanok Intanon here in the second game, having already won the first.
เมย์เข้าแล้วเมย์เอาขาขวาอยู่ง่ายเลยดักถีบตบเพื่อนรู้ว่าทำไมเอาเยอะอย่างนี้นอนมาเพราะเมย์ขึ้นแบบนอนเมย์เราขึ้นตรงแล้วหมุนไม่ออกว่าถ้าเสิร์ฟพี่บอกแล้วว่ายืนไกลหน่อยไม่ต้องไกลไม่ไกลอย่าชิดหน้ามากยืนไกลมาหน่อยแล้วเสิร์ฟพอเสิร์ฟเสร็จซุงก็จะวิ่งเข้ามาพื้นที่ข้างหลังเปิด
알아요? 힘내고 이상하면 좀 빨리 봐라. 크로스.
20 seconds.
Well, I know you and I discussed in Denmark, Steen, Ratchanok Intanon, when she won her first Super Series title for 18 months in Odense, and we both thought she was being far more proactive in her style of play, far more aggressive. And I think she's continued that sort of style ever since, and certainly appears today to want to command the rallies.
Yeah, she looks to be in really great shape here, and I think it was really, really important what we saw in Denmark.
Ratchanok Intanon
Just see
challenges
this
called out.
challenge here, and then return to the Denmark Open.
Well, my instinctive reaction was that it was wide, but we'll wait for Hawkeye to adjudicate for us. Yep, it was just wide.
I think that tournament in Denmark marked the return of Ratchanok Intanon to high-level women's singles since her 3 consecutive wins in 2016. And I think, I mean, she still played well in French, and she also played reasonably well in Hong Kong. But I think that she still has some respect for that strain it is to play tournaments consecutive weeks after each other. So I think she might have been taking it a little bit more slowly than normal after the Denmark Open win. So it's going to be interesting to follow her in this tournament here, because she looks to be in great shape.
Yeah. Good rally. And of course we mustn't forget, and we need to understand the emotion that is taken out of any athlete when you win a big event in the Premier Super Series in Denmark. and that was her first for 18 months. She dedicated it to the late King of Thailand, and it was very emotional. I'm not surprised at the French. She didn't do quite as well, but in China and Hong Kong, 2 semi-finals back-to-back, that was pretty impressive.
Eleven, 12.
That was 3 early Christmas gifts from Ratchanok Intanon to Sung Ji-hyun. 3 very easy mistakes.
Service over. Thirteen, 12.
Just wide. Didn't miss by much, but in my opinion, it was definitely wide. Yep. That's good judgment. Well, I think I've got the sideways drift completely wrong. That's why we got you here, Steen.
Yeah, but I wouldn't risk anything.
Perfect clear.
16, 12.
That was much shorter than I expected. I mean, it was a good clear, but I would have expected it to be really, really close to the line.
Forced to take that backhand very low indeed.
17,
No way out of trouble from that position for Sung Ji-hyun.
Service over. 13, 17. Is it open?
Had the honour of carrying the flag at the opening ceremony in Rio last year, did Ratchanok Intanon.
Thirteen, 17.
And was definitely among the favourites after her 3 consecutive wins in the Singapore, Indonesia, and Malaysia.
No, it was India.
India.
Malaysia and Singapore.
Yeah. I guess she was hampered by injury. Didn't really play a big role in the Olympic tournament.
Ratchanok Intanon challenges called out.
So another challenge incorrect by
Challenge unsuccessful.
Ratchanok.
No challenges remaining.
So as the umpire
14,
confirms, no
17.
challenges remaining.
Play.
A lot of confidence the linesmen must get
15,
from these
17.
challenges
Yeah.
because they've been right so far. That's very good.
Service over.
Of course, this match is far from over yet, but I still sit with the feeling that the
18,
scoreline is
15.
pretty close. I just feel that Ratchanok has this match under total control. That she can shift it up a gear if needed, and if she has a good lead, then she might take her foot off the gas pedal a little bit.
It's gone long. Oh, she's only 2 points away from victory here in the first of her group matches.
19-15. Service over. 16-19.
Never got herself in a defensive position, really. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah. And with that wonderful, first of all, cross-court net shot, and then waiting for the reply in the backhand
20,
kill,
match point,
come
16.
4 match point opportunities. Only needed the one. 21-19, 21-16, the margin of her victory. Ratchanok Intanon against the two-time beaten finalist Sungji Hyun. And that is a very, very impressive opening match for the former world champion.
Match won by Ratchanok Intanon.
So as the umpire confirms the score, 21-19,
21-16.
21-16 in a match lasting 47 minutes. So she takes leave of centre stage. Yes, no wonder she's happy. She'll be absolutely delighted with that, although I'm sure her coach probably will hope that she makes a better start to her next match. 1-6 down in that opening game. But it is not how you start, it's how you finish. And she finished quite brilliantly. So a perfect start as far as Ratchanok Intanon is concerned. 2 straight game victory over the 2-time beaten finalist here at the Super Series finals. So Ratchanok Intanon, of course, her match is the only match that's been played so far, so she's top of the table. So that means that Ratchanok Intanon, the first of our 2 women's singles matches this afternoon. And next up will be men's doubles, and Bo and Morganson's 3 consecutive titles here at the Super Series finals. They're up against a pair making their first appearance here, Hoki and Kobayashi. So what an occasion for the Japanese pair making their first appearance here at the Super Series finals. In fact, there's 2 pairs that are making their first appearance here. Well, as far as the men's doubles groups are concerned, Bo and Mogensen, 4 finals here, 4 consecutive finals are up against Hoki and Kobayashi. Let's get the